Missing out on your favorite ride, hating your hotel room, or having to call the police? Disney World isn't all cupcakes and pixie dust all the time. Sometimes it can get a little disturbing. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. So Disney World trips don't always turn out the way you dreamed they'd be. That's kind of why we're here. Sometimes technology fails you, sometimes you end up paying more than you thought you would, sometimes you feel like you're being watched. You'll see what I mean when we get to point 6. Whatever the case may be, we're addressing all those disturbing things about Disney World that could potentially throw you for a loop now, so we can figure out how to navigate around them together. First up, and this is something I'm going to talk a lot about in these videos for a while here, is planning a trip around a brand new ride and not getting to ride it. I think that a lot of people think that just because Tron is opening or insert ride name here is opening, they can just show up at the park that day and ride it. And because of some of the rules that Disney has recently put into place, that's not the case. Not everyone is going to be able to ride it. So let's focus on Tron and figure out how to get you on that ride and not make you super disappointed. This one is a new high-speed coaster. It's going to have you boarding a 2-wheel light cycle to launch into the grid for a race through a dark, computerized world reaching speeds up to 59 miles per hour. So for comparison's sake, the coaster is going to be faster than Rock and Roller Coaster in Hollywood Studios, but not quite as fast as that accelerated speed you experience on Test Track. So we've been waiting for Tron to open up for what seems like forever, and it's finally going to be here for all guests starting April 4th. Literally, you'll blink and it'll be here. Before you hop onto your computer and start searching for early April flights, though, I need to break something to you. Not everyone who goes to Magic Kingdom is going to be able to ride this new coaster, and that has nothing to do with height requirements. When Tron opens in Magic Kingdom, it'll start out using a virtual queue or a boarding pass system. This means that a traditional standby line will not be offered for the time being. Just to give you an idea of how long a virtual queue could stick around, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in Epcot is still using a virtual queue system, and that ride opened last May. Now what this means is you can't just show up at the park and get in line. It means you have to book your spot in line in advance, and there are only a few ways to do this, and not everybody will get a spot. So virtual queues open up twice daily on the My Disney Experience app, one at 7 a.m., one at 1 p.m. There could also be a third virtual queue window around 6 p.m. for deluxe resort guests who are using their extended evening hours to get extra time in the park. We've seen this third virtual queue time open for Cosmic Rewind, so we expect Tron to follow suit. Now, that's not a suggested time range. That's on the dot when these virtual queues open up, because at 7:01 a.m. or 1:01 p.m., those virtual queues are going to be gone and you're going to be out of luck. Boarding group numbers are snatched up in literal seconds, so if you're not ready to join the queue right when they go live, you'll miss out entirely. I have missed out multiple times. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever gotten a virtual queue the whole time I've been trying to get them. Luckily, the DFB team must have faster fingers than me because they can get them, but I've never been able to actually get one when I tried to. So here's my advice. Get a good night's rest the night before so you can wake up bright and early before 7 a.m. to join the virtual queue. Have your app open and ready well before that potential virtual queue sign-up time. Triple check that all your passes and friends are linked appropriately, since you can confirm your party starting at 6 a.m. to save you time. And refresh that virtual queue sign-up page as the sign-up time gets closer. That way you can rush right in. You may also want to check your phone's speed on Wi-Fi versus not Wi-Fi to see what'll work better. And if you don't want the weight of getting a virtual queue to be solely your responsibility, ask for a second person in your group to wake up with you and try to get into the queue on their phone at the exact same time. Just in case someone's phone has any issues, that way you've got a backup plan. And don't forget, Tron Light Cycle Run will also be available to book as an individual Lightning Lane through the Disney Genie Plus service, also on the My Disney Experience app. Meaning, if push comes to shove, you could pay a separate price to skip the virtual queue instead. But note, individual Lightning Lanes are not included in the standard Disney Genie Plus service. So if you purchase Genie Plus for your Magic Kingdom day, you're still going to have to pay that separate price for a Tron Lightning Lane. But that's not guaranteed either. While more than likely individual Lightning Lanes will be easier to obtain rather than the free boarding groups, because free is always better than paid, and if you get individual Lightning Lanes for a family of 4, that could cost you $17 to $20 per person, meaning you might have to shell out 68 to 80 bucks to ride through. So if this is something you're willing to pay for to guarantee a ride on Tron, make sure to set aside at least an extra $100 just in case. And don't be thinking that you'll be able to sleep in if you're choosing the individual Lightning Lane path either. If you're staying at a Disney World owned resort, individual Lightning Lanes will go live at 7 a.m. And we plan for them to get snatched up pretty quickly as well. So note that if you're not staying in a Disney World resort, you would have to wait until the park opens to get your individual Lightning Lane, and I imagine they will all be gone. At this point, individual Lightning Lanes for things like Guardians of the Galaxy and Rise of the Resistance are often gone before the park opens, so anybody not staying in a Disney-owned resort can't even buy their way onto the ride. So just to summarize, lots of people are not going to be able to ride Tron on the day they think they're going to ride Tron. So if something happens and you aren't able to get a virtual queue or an individual Lightning Lane, make sure you haven't planned your trip solely around riding this new ride, because as you'll see later on in this video, rides are unpredictable as well. If you need help creating a more thorough game plan for your Magic Kingdom day, one that doesn't fully rely on virtual queue success, check out our Ultimate Magic Kingdom Guide video, available on the YouTube channel after this. Also, something else we always recommend when you're going specifically to ride a new ride is to make sure you have a park pass at that park for at least 2 days of your trip. That way, if you miss out on riding the first day of your trip, you have a second day available to try to get on that ride again. And since Magic Kingdom is one of the parks that always books up the fastest, go ahead and book 2 Magic Kingdom days, and then if you need to switch one over to Epcot or Animal Kingdom later in the week, that should be a little bit easier to grab. So good luck, Godspeed, may the odds be ever in your favor to ride Tron, but don't build your whole trip around riding Tron or any other new ride opening in the Disney parks. The next disturbing thing that a lot of people don't realize about Disney World is that the new dining deal could be less than you'd hoped for. So Disney's latest dining promotional card allows guests to book a vacation package and receive a free gift card that can only exclusively be used at Disney World restaurants. It's not exactly the return of the Disney dining plan, but it's the closest thing we've had to it since the DDP was shut down in 2020. Free money for food doesn't sound like a bad thing, and it's not, but this deal can be tricky because the amount of money you receive on your gift card depends on where you're staying and when you're staying on property. I'll put up the values of the cards based on resorts and travel dates on the screen now, but I'll also sum them up for you too. So here's the first tricky thing about all these prices you're seeing right now. This is the value you'll get on your card per room and not per person. So a $35 per night dining card for your family of 4 may not end up adding up to be a whole lot. These cards are also only available if you book at least a 4-night vacation package, meaning gift cards will start at $140 for value resort stays, $300 for moderates, and $500 for deluxe resort stays. Now, if you're staying at a deluxe resort, you're potentially getting around $125 to $150 per night, which could go a long way to feed your group, especially if it's maybe just you and your significant other you've got to worry about. But if your plans involve staying in a hotel that's not owned by Disney, including stays at Disney Springs hotels or the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin, then you will not be eligible for that free dining money. That being said, if you're going to be getting a better room rate at those other hotels rather than a Disney-owned one, then going with a non-Disney hotel might end up being the better deal for you in the end, free money or not. The dining card also won't go very far if you plan on dining out at a lot of expensive table service restaurants. However, if you were going to eat at these restaurants anyway, the card should at the very least save you a little bit of cash that you were already planning to spend. But there's one more important thing you got to consider with this one. If you book the dining promo package, you're also purchasing your Disney World tickets with the package. So if you prefer purchasing your Disney World tickets separately, perhaps even at a discount, this promo might not be a great deal for you either. And also, if you have a hotel discount, because you're an annual pass holder or a Florida resident, etc., that discount might add up to more money than your free dining promo card. So before you're quick to hit the deal button, make sure this is the path that's ultimately going to save you the most money on your trip. I know, you didn't think you'd have to math for your vacation, but if you want to save the most, then you kind of do. Now, quick shameless plug here for the DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining 2023. That's our ebook that we write, and we update it twice a year. We talk about these deals in there. We talk about where you can save money, where you can pocket some extra cash, where you can get discounts. So if you want a way in-depth analysis, probably more in-depth than anybody probably needs, you can go ahead over to dfbstore.com, pick up that guide. It's 100% money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, just let us know. We'll refund you, no problem. All right, next thing that can be disturbing and kind of throw you for a loop is that park passes are continuing to sell out again and again and again. You might have already been preparing yourself for those intense crowds for Disney World's busiest times of the year. And luckily, we've seen a little pullback in crowds here at the end of January and beginning of February. But what you might not have been prepared for is being flat out turned away from the parks before you get a chance to even step into them. So Park Pass reservations require guests to make a reservation to enter any of the Disney theme parks after you've already purchased your tickets. So just having tickets isn't enough to get into the parks. You also have to have a Park Pass reservation. You have to reserve your spot in the parks. So during the more chill times of year like February or throughout September, Park Pass reservations aren't too hard to come by, but if you're planning on going to the parks during very busy seasons like around the holidays or spring break or the summer, then Park Passes could fill up for select parks before you get the chance to make those reservations. And other random things can make Park Passes sell out, like you might not know that a specific ride is opening on a certain day, and that's going to make the Park Passes sell out, or it's the first day for a new event or a new party or a new something or other. Or maybe a merchandise item is coming out that day, and all of a sudden, for some reason, on a random Tuesday, you can't get into Magic Kingdom. Let's look at some examples. For the most part, January is a pretty low-key time of the year to visit the parks, but on the week of New Year's, Park Passes were flying off the proverbial shelves of the Disney website. In fact, randomly on Tuesday, January 3rd, all the Park Passes were taken for all the parks. Needless to say, the parks were looking way busy that day. We're talking 60-minute waits to ride Grand Fiesta Tour in Epcot busy. Right now, we're keeping our eye on the Park Pass reservation calendar for the beginning of April, especially Magic Kingdom, because not only will Tron be opening on April 4th, but Happily Ever After will be returning as the park's fireworks on April 3rd, so that's a major double whammy that'll be bringing guests in droves. Not to mention, this time frame also aligns with many school spring break seasons, so actually we're looking at triple whammy here. For the time being, Park Pass reservations for the beginning of April are still wide open for standard guests, but they're starting to get blocked off for many lower tier annual pass holders. So that means if you want to be part of all the early April madness, you're going to need to start looking into getting your park tickets and Park Pass reservations real soon. Remember, even if you decide to change your plans for your trip later on, you may still be able to change your Park Pass reservations. Just go to the My Plans section of your My Disney Experience app and hit reservation details. From there, you'll see your current reservations, which you can cancel if need be. There's no penalty for canceling, and it also doesn't cancel your park ticket purchase. Canceling just means that you'll be allowed to make a different reservation selection that falls within the same time frame of your ticket. Just make sure you double check that the parks you want to make those new reservations for still have Park Passes available before completely canceling your existing reservations. You can find all Park Pass availability on the Park Pass reservation calendar on the Disney World website. And yes, I'm perfectly aware that this is as ridiculous as it sounds, but this is why we're here, y'all. We're here to help you navigate the new Disney World. All right, next disturbing thing that people don't realize about Disney World. The souvenirs are so homogenous, you're gonna see the same stuff everywhere, and you might be missing out on unique and fun and totally cool souvenirs because you don't know where to find them. So mini ears, love them. Loungefly bags, great. The shirts that say meet me at the purple wall, super cute. But so many of the souvenirs you're gonna find in Disney World gift shops aren't actually gonna be as exclusive to the parks as they claim to be. In fact, lots of park-based items can also be found on shopdisney.com for a potentially cheaper price point too. So how are you gonna find some actual Disney World only merch while you're roaming around the parks? Well, let's take a stroll through the Magic Kingdom to find the most unique items to buy that you can't find anywhere else. If you get some standard vinyl Mickey ears, you can get them customized over at the Yield Christmas shop on Liberty Square for just $3. You can also get personalized Disney ornaments here too, and the artwork is incredible. And what other personalized products are you going to find at Liberty Square? Those custom parasols at the parasol stand, hand-painted daily. My mom and dad got me one of these, a little tiny one, when I was a kid, and oh my gosh, it was the best thing ever. I basically set it up as my Barbie's beach umbrella, and it was very cool. Now, over on Main Street USA, you're going to find a pretty affordable personalized silhouette souvenir for you and your fam, located at the Portrait Cart. Again, incredible artistry here. I do not know how they do it. If you want something a little more high-end on Main Street USA, you may want to pick up something special and super fragile from Crystal Arts. Here you're going to find glass blowers working on intricate pieces in shop, including glass figurines, bowls, vases, and yard ornaments. Personally, I could lose so much park time here just watching the glass blowers create those incredibly high-quality art pieces. It is mesmerizing. But if we were to hop over to Epcot for the afternoon, you'll have all those World Showcase shops at your disposal with their exclusive items that you're so not going to find on Shop Disney or potentially anywhere else in America. The World Showcase has several pavilion gift stores with exclusive international merch. Head to the Mitsukoshi department store in the Japan Pavilion, which sells super unique stuff like authentic kimonos and fans, teapots, unique snacks, and Japanese-inspired pop culture plushies and collectibles. So if you're a Animal Crossing fan, or if you love Hello Kitty, Pokemon, oh my gosh, you're going to find so much cool stuff here. Now, the House of Good Fortune in the China Pavilion, which is your shop for Chinese New Year stuff, as well as super fun potato chip flavors and even costumes for your four-legged friend back home. That's an amazing shop to wander through. I tell you guys all the time, but I actually bought a blazer here. It was beautiful, and I wore it to some really, really fancy meetings at some points when I was working in New York City. And you can get customized perfume bottles over in the France Pavilion at Plume et Palette. Okay, I'll stop there for now. There's just too many things to window shop for around the World Showcase. It's amazing. Oh wait, what about the Italy masks? They're so good. Okay, you're of course more than welcome to buy that Disney World Spirit jersey on property if you like, even if it is the same one you found online before. But if you're truly shopping around for something completely and genuinely one of a kind that you're only going to get in the Disney bubble, you've definitely got options to explore. And I want you to explore them because these stores are very cool. And if you want a Disney-inspired souvenir that's not on Shop Disney or inside the Disney World bubble for an even more exclusive offering, then of course you can support us here at DFB with our tees and sweatshirts. You can go to dfbstore.com and we've got dozens of different designs to choose from, featuring your favorite parks, your favorite rides, snacks, even retired attractions. So definitely go check those out. You can support your favorite YouTube channel. That's us, right? Okay. Now, the next disturbing thing that people don't realize about Disney World, Disney's schedule may not align with your plans. You can have your absolute perfect shining itinerary all set and ready for your big Disney vacay, only to find out too late that Disney's not really going to go along with your plans as well as you thought they would. Depending on the time of year, certain rides, resort pools, or even certain modes of transportation to and from the parks, that stuff could be down for seasonal refurbishment. Not to mention if you're visiting a certain park on a day they're holding a special event, or in the case of Magic Kingdom, one of the after-hours holiday parties, then you might find your day cut entirely too short. Just last week, Disney had a cast member special event that shut down the Magic Kingdom at 4:30. And regular guests are asked to leave to make way for the event. No fireworks, no dinner reservations, no last-minute nighttime rides on outdoor coasters for you to look forward to. Fortunately, you don't have to be taken off guard by these closures or shortened hours. Disney does list any schedule anomalies on their events calendar on the Disney World website. Or if you don't want to constantly be tracking down Disney's schedule discrepancies, since the park calendar is always changing, then you can sign up for our DFB newsletter instead, and we're going to send you those new announcements as soon as we hear about them. I'll drop our newsletter link down in the description. All right, here's another disturbing thing that people don't realize about Disney World, and I know it's disturbing for some and not for others, but we're going to mention it anyway. Your hotel room could be listening to you. Raise your hand if you do not own an Alexa device, because you don't want her listening in on all your conversations. Side story, Bria, who writes our scripts here, had to actually disconnect their Alexa around the holidays because they started getting advertisements for gifts that her husband had purchased for her that he told his family about over the phone. So yes, the robots are all listening to us. Now, if you're not the world's biggest fan of those robo assistants, then you may not be too terribly keen about Disney's latest hotel feature called Hey Disney. Hey Disney is a virtual assistant that can help you with your Disney vacation. It can answer questions, help you request extra amenities activities for your hotel room and get dining recommendations sent your way too. It can also tell you jokes and play trivia and play ambient sounds from your favorite Disney universes and provide you with magic moments that'll let you go on adventures with beloved characters. It's a nifty little device for sure, and we're already starting to see them pop up around Disney hotel rooms. But not everyone is a huge fan of this new tech with the big ears, literally and metaphorically. But don't let this new feature keep you from booking a Disney hotel, because there's a very easy way to turn off the virtual assistant when it's in your hotel room. You ready for this? You can just unplug it. Yep, that's it. That's the tweet. If you don't want it potentially listening, just power it down. Simple as that. After all, your TV in your hotel room can also give you the bulk of the same information that Hey Disney can give you, telling you all about the park hours for the day, when Disney transportation begins, the current temperature, resort activities and events, and all that jazz. And if you need to request any additional amenities like towels, shampoo, conditioner, toilet paper, etc., you can always just use your phone and not have to worry about any additional technology. Okay, so the next thing I want to warn you about at Disney World are opening timelines for experiences. These are very flexible, and they definitely can change. While we know the official dates for some of Disney World's rides and shows like Tron Light Cycle Run and Happily Ever After, and even the return of the Epcot Forever fireworks, which is also starting up on April 3rd, many other experiences that are slated to open this year do not have an official timeline. With Epcot attractions like Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, the Figment Meet and Greet, and the new Communicore Hall and Plaza, which will centralize festival offerings, we know that they're currently supposed to open in late 2023, but that's really all we've got so far. And that may not even be the full truth. Just look at Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, for instance. This is a table service restaurant currently being built in Disney's Hollywood Studios. Last year, we were told this new family-style barbecue joint would be opening in late 2022. But as we got toward the end of 2022, Disney quietly pushed the opening timeline for the restaurant back to spring 2023. So setbacks happen, and we'd rather Disney delay a project than open it before it's ready to go. But this just goes to show that you can't really plan a trip solely around an attraction's opening until you know for sure what the opening date is slated to be exactly. And Disney does not release that information without being sure of it. You may get a time frame that is changeable, but usually the opening date, and once they actually announce a specific date, that's pretty locked in. Now we know that Roundup Rodeo Barbecue is opening on March 23rd, which means we can now plan to get advanced dining reservations for it any time on and after that date. Even if you think you know when a certain experience is going to open at Disney World, don't rely on word of mouth, internet rumors, or even your own intuition here, because nothing's truly official until Disney announces it. So don't be planning an end-of-the-year Epcot trip thinking December will be a good time to see all this new stuff, when there's still the possibility some of these timelines could get pushed back to 2024. If you're truly waiting to vacation at Disney World until a certain experience or certain experiences have opened up, then don't start the planning process until after Disney's given you a more concrete idea of when you'll see an attraction go live. Or go ahead and book things, but make sure you've got wiggle room and flexibility in terms of cancellations. Use this time to save up on those vacation funds. The next disturbing thing people don't realize about Disney World is that rides break down, and some break down all the time. Disney World's rides are hardworking. They are running pretty much constantly from sunup to sundown, and sometimes they're running even later than that. So it's understandable that some rides just get burnt out and need a little TLC to get them back online again, because we all do. For example, Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios was averaging 100+ minute wait times last year because 2 of their 4 elevators had to close down for refurbishments, meaning the ride was running at half capacity for months. And Rock and Roller Coaster, also at Hollywood Studios, was breaking down so often in 2022 that Imagineers finally said enough was enough and scheduled it for extended renovations in 2023. The ride closed in February and will now be down for the count until sometime later this summer. But there is one ride in Disney World that seems to have way more breakdowns and fits than all the others combined, and that's, of course, Rise of the Resistance over in Hollywood Studios. Gosh, Hollywood Studios just can't catch a break. Rise of the Resistance is an experience that involves moving from vehicle to vehicle and interacting with Star Wars characters like First Order officers and members of the Resistance. It's definitely one of the most impressive rides that Disney has built to date. It has 27 fail points, potentially, and there's a lot that can go wrong. And sure enough, this ride breaks down a lot. According to our friends over at allears.net, last year, Rise of the Resistance had to close a total of 580 times. 580 times. So what are you going to do if this ride breaks down while you're there and wanting to ride? Because frankly, the odds are not in your favor right now. You got a few different options. If you are physically on the ride, as in seated in the ride vehicle, ready to go when it breaks down, you will likely receive a Lightning Lane pass to return and re-ride it later in the day. But keep in mind that this free Lightning Lane pass is not guaranteed. It's fairly common to receive a free pass in this situation, but a variety of factors will influence the cast member's decision on whether they give out the passes and who they give them to. The time of day, the length of the queue, and the details about the technical difficulties all impact that decision. Another possible situation is that Rise of the Resistance breaks down when you're in the queue but not on the ride itself. If that happens, you will likely not be given a free Lightning Lane redemption pass. In this situation, it might be best to just wait things out if you have the time. The ride could reopen within an hour or even sooner, and you don't want to lose your place in the queue. This can be a tough call to make though. We've been in line when the ride broke down and reopened within a half hour. We've also been in line when the ride broke down and didn't reopen for the rest of the day. There's no way to tell how long the closure will be. Gambling your time in Disney World is not a fun game to play, and we know it's frustrating. So take a look at your plans for the day and talk with your group about what your priorities truly look like. If you're on a tight schedule, you may just have to cut your losses and head out. If you do leave the line, your best chance at still getting on the ride without wasting any more time in the park is to hop in line closer to the park's closing time. Cast members will let you stay in line and go on the attraction even after the park closes, just as long as you enter the queue before the park closes. But remember, if you get in line just before park closing, you do run the risk of the ride breaking down again. And if that happens, then you don't have the option to return later on because it's the end of the day. So you'll just have to leave the park. Now, if you have an individual Lightning Lane for Rise of the Resistance and you scan your Lightning Lane, you get in line, and the ride breaks down and you want to leave the line, go ahead to a cast member at Guest Services or even a cast member right there at Rise of the Resistance and see if they can give you an experience pass to ride the ride later on. This may be a situation where you do have to speak to a cast member though to get that reinstated on your My Disney experience. It should happen automatically, but if it doesn't, definitely talk to a CM. The next disturbing thing people don't realize in Disney World is that guests call 911 a lot more often than you think. So guests are calling 911 in Disney World daily, but don't jump to conclusions yet. It's not for the reasons you might think. Smartphones and smartwatches have a habit of being accidentally activated on rides, especially roller coasters. The combination of speeds, rapid change in direction, and aggressive stops can send signals to smart devices. But this isn't just a Disney problem, it's a theme park problem. According to an ABC news station at a county in Tennessee that's close to Dollywood, they received nearly 16,000 accidental 911 calls between May and October of 2021. Of those calls, 60%, nearly 10,000, came from the amusement park rides at Dollywood. So what can you do to keep your phone from accidentally calling 911 when you're getting your thrill on in Disney World or any other amusement park? Just switch your phone over to airplane mode right before you're bored. That way your smartphone won't be able to use the emergency services while you're in motion. I know, weird problem to have in Disney World, but finding a solution for it now will help prevent you from making an emergency butt dial while you're riding the wildest ride in the wilderness. Oh, this is a good one to warn you about next. The Disney room you booked may not be what you'd hoped for. Okay, so Disney's value resorts are pretty self-explanatory. They're going to be your more affordable option when it comes to choosing a Disney resort. You got a few value options to choose from, including All-Star Resorts, Sports, Music, and Movies, Disney's Pop Century, and Disney's Art of Animation. But even though these value options are owned and operated by Disney, they're not always the most magical choice out there. For starters, if you're staying at one of the All-Star Resorts and you're trying to take a bus back from the Magic Kingdom at the very end of the day, then you might be waiting in line to return to your room for a very long time. Value resorts have a lot of rooms, which is great. That means they can accommodate a lot of folks who are wanting to save a little money on their resort stay in exchange for more time and money invested in the parks. But that also means a lot of those value resort guests are planning on starting their day at Park Rope Drop and finishing their day after the fireworks. So expect to see some high wait times at the very beginning and very end of the day for value resort transportation. That's not a bad thing necessarily, just something you want to plan ahead for. That being said, if you stay at Art of Animation or Pop Century, you'll have direct access to the Disney Skyliner, which will transport you over to Hollywood Studios and or Epcot via Sky Gondola, and that can be a big selling point in favor of those value resorts. Another big con for values, though, food court dining. Don't expect to find any fancy schmancy fine dining or sit-down dining at the value resorts. These food courts will feed you and you won't have to break the bank with the different options available, but are you going to eat the best food ever at these places? Maybe not. Expect to find standard options like pizzas and pastas and burgers, although every now and then these food courts surprise us with a super fun seasonal dessert offering that we've just got to try. Now, this isn't bad food by any means. It'll definitely cater to the pickier eaters in your party too, but you're not really going to want to write home about any of it. And if you prefer a room closer to some nicer table and signature restaurants, then the moderate and deluxe resorts might be a better fit for you. And now here's one of the biggest downsides for those value resorts. Some of those standard rooms are just standard. The colorful characters are a lot of fun and the cast members here are great and helpful, but at the end of the day, you're often paying $200 or more per night to basically stay in a Holiday Inn room. And there's no free breakfast. So don't book a room at a value resort thinking it's the only Disney option you can afford. You can also look into good neighbor hotels, which can sometimes be even cheaper than the Disney value resort stays. Many good neighbor hotels have very similar benefits to the Disney-owned resort, including complimentary bus transportation to and from the parks and early theme park hours access. They also sometimes have free breakfast. But in the end, it's all about perspective. Value resorts can be a great option for groups, especially those who want in-your-face Disney characters and theming 24/7, and it can be a letdown for some, depending on what you're looking for. So do your research on your own time, figure out if staying at one of Disney's budget options is really going to be worth your money and your time. Our friends over at allears.net have some awesome resort videos on their channel to give you a more detailed look at the different rooms you can book for your Disney vacation. Plus, Quincy does that pillow science to test how firm and plush the hotel room pillows are, so she's basically doing the Lord's work out there. Okay, let's talk a little bit next about construction zones in Disney World and how they can really ruin what you want those parks to actually be. Nothing like trying to immerse yourself in the Disney realm only to find a big old crane or construction wall that pulls you out of the moment. Maybe that's kind of harsh. After all, construction means progress, and it's nice to see the parks being updated and taken care of, but that doesn't mean that it's not still disappointing to be greeted by tons of construction work when you've planned an expensive Disney World vacation now, expecting to see the parks just like you've seen them advertised online. So if you're going to Disney World soon, here's some of the current construction you're going to want to be aware of. Over in Epcot, you're going to find tons of construction walls around the World Celebration area as the park continues to work on the Communicore Hall and Plaza and the Journey of Water attraction. Splash Mountain recently closed in Magic Kingdom, so Imagineers got right to work on the re-theme that'll be taking over this log flume ride, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is currently set to open in 2024. But yeah, you're going to be seeing cranes and construction walls all over the place there. Imagineers are currently working on putting together the structure for the future home of the Summer House on the Lake restaurant in Disney Springs, which is located close to the Salt and Straw ice cream shop. So you can expect to dine at this new table service spot sometime in 2023, but there's going to be construction until then. Disney's Boardwalk Inn has been going through some serious updates lately, and just recently we spotted changes starting to happen in the lobby area too. Along with lobby updates and room renovations, the Boardwalk Inn is getting ready to open up a brand new table service restaurant, the Cake Bake Shop, later this year too, and that's where you're going to see the most in-your-face construction happening on the boardwalk. There's a new DVC tower coming to Disney's Polynesian Village Resort that's not slated to open until late 2024. However, expect to see lots of construction, large equipment, and cement trucks working behind the resort now. Also, if you want to walk between Grand Floridian and Polynesian, it's a little bit confusing right now because you actually have to go out to the road and walk on a pathway there and then cross the road again to get back over to the other resort. So it's very, very confusing how you do that if you're used to the old way. And speaking of, Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa is also getting a bit of a facelift. You're going to find lots of scaffolding around the property as Imagineers work to freshen up the deluxe resort's current rooms with a classy Mary Poppins re-theme. So if you want to keep track of Disney World's construction and progress, don't forget to check out our latest news posts that come out weekly on the DFB website. We'll just send them directly to your inbox after you sign up for the DFB newsletter. That'll tell you what rides are closed, what pools are closed, and what closures are coming down the pike, so if you need to change your trip due to those, you can. All right, now I love sugar as much as the next person, but that doesn't mean I always want to spend near or over $20 each time I want to satisfy my sweet tooth and have dessert. Some of Disney World's desserts are super expensive. So expensive, in fact, that they could end up costing near the same amount you'd pay for an entire meal at a fast food location. Why does this happen? Well, Disney knows you like sugar too, and they're able to charge more for it. For example, the Land's End, which is a salted caramel brownie sundae at Ghirardelli Soda Fountain and Chocolate Shop, is going to cost you around $18 in Disney Springs. Amaret's Petite Cakes, in their 11-layer glory, costs $16 to $20 in Disney Springs. The Chocolate Fiesta Pyramid at San Helen Restaurante in Epcot is $34, although that is definitely shareable. And the Kitchen Sink Sundae, made with 5 different ice creams and every ice cream topping imaginable at Beaches and Cream and Disney's Beach Club Resort, is $36. I remember when it was $21. But again, you really need to share this if you get it. Now, speaking of serving sizes, if you see any of these desserts on the menus and go, wow, I know they're expensive, but I'd sure love to try them anyways, you can always justify those prices better when you split these treats with other members in your party. And believe me, these dessert serving sizes will definitely provide you with enough to share. But if you're looking for a cheaper dessert option, in general, there are so many more affordable sweet treats around Disney property for you to check out. The Ghirardelli Chocolate Brownie is around $5. The Banana and Hazelnut Crepe at Amaret's is $7. A Gideon's Cookie is $6. Beaches and Cream Ice Cream Soda, $6. And there's so much more. So if you want to learn more about some of our favorite desserts, bang for your buck around Disney World, check out our 32 Best Disney World Snacks for 2023 video after this. You can also check out our 3 specialty snack guides on the DFB store website. Each guide covers 200 plus snacks and secret menu items and money-saving tips to make sure you're not going to regret what you spend your money on during your Disney day. We eat it all, we cover it all, so that you can choose what makes the most sense for you. Now, speaking of amazing snacks, another disturbing thing people don't realize about Disney World is that your favorite food could absolutely disappear. Think about your favorite food of all time. Now imagine it one day disappearing off the restaurant menu without you even getting a chance to say goodbye. When you're making your must-get snacks and food lists for your upcoming Disney World vacation, proceed with caution, because what's here today might be gone tomorrow. In 2022, a number of food changes hit the Disney restaurants. Here are a few little examples. The all-you-care-to-eat family-style Harvest Feast at Garden Grill in Epcot used to include sliced turkey breast with turkey gravy, but now you'll have to look elsewhere for that Thanksgiving-feeling dish, because there was a turkey shortage. Literally, turkey sandwiches were gone from menus all over the place. The Monte Cristo sandwich, added to the Plaza Restaurant's menu in honor of the 50th anniversary celebration, and so good, was removed from the menu prematurely after a turkey shortage too. And we expect to see the majority of the 50th anniversary snacks start fizzling out over the next couple of months, since the 18-month-long celebration is coming to a close. Now, the chicken and waffles from Olivia's Cafe over at Old Key West Resort, they flew the coop and are no longer a brunch option. And though crab legs are still available at Cape May Cafe and Disney's Beach Club Resort, the endless supply of them that you used to get with the price of your buffet is definitely no longer endless. Instead, you're going to have to pay an additional $29 per pound to add them to your meal. Now, just because one restaurant location no longer has a certain item doesn't mean that this entree or snack has disappeared from the Disney bubble completely. You're still going to find roasted turkey offered on the all-you-care-to-enjoy menu over at Liberty Tree Tavern in Magic Kingdom, and chicken and waffles is still served at the Grand Floridian Cafe in case you really need that brunch fix. But if you want to learn more about new and updated food options to be on the lookout for the next time you're in Disney World, consider ordering our fresh out of the oven 2023 DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining. That's going to help you decide which meals are going to make your taste buds happy while on vacation. Make sure to type in the code YouTube for a discount on your overall purchase. And I know I'm talking about these books a lot in this particular video, but if things are disturbing, we want to make sure that you're prepared ahead of time and you can figure out how to not have those affect your vacation. Like I say, we make the mistakes so you don't have to. And we haven't talked about this in a while on the channel because it hasn't been unbelievably hot in Florida. But let's talk for a second about the heat that people are not prepared for when they go to Disney World. I know you think you're prepared for the Orlando heat, but even those with an affinity for all things summer will start searching for that sweet, sweet AC when the Florida sun reaches its heat of the day during the summer months. The reason why it's so awful is that humidity, and I know that that's like a stereotypical thing to say, but it makes a huge difference to being able to really enjoy a warm day and absolutely have it destroy you. Summer at Disney means 90+ degree days. That means sunburns, dehydration, heat exhaustion, and very unhappy campers. So let me give you a super speedy bullet point list on how to prepare yourselves and your group for those excruciatingly hot and humid days. First of all, take plenty of breaks indoors. Disney's got so many indoor offerings and its shows and restaurants and gift shops, so if the heat is getting to you, get out of it. Don't just apply sunscreen either, reapply it throughout the day. Wear protective gear like hats and sunscreen to protect the parts of you that you can't really sunscreen. I mean, you can, it just might backfire for you. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Drink plenty of water by bringing a reusable water bottle or asking for complimentary water cups from quick service locations. Take a day to swim in your resort's pool, preferably the predicted hottest day of your trip. But don't forget to have that sunscreen on. You can also schedule a water park day. Though Disney's Typhoon Lagoon is currently closed for renovations, Blizzard Beach is open and ready to keep you cool with its wave pool, lazy river, and dozens of water slides. You can purchase cooling items like those neck towels and the handheld fans, although I highly recommend the neck towels, to provide some relief while you're walking around or waiting in an outdoor line. Pack that chafing stick because the heat can cause some rather annoying problems other than just sweating profusely. I really like the Body Glide version. You can get it for men or women, although I'm pretty sure it's literally the same stuff. It's just that they changed the packaging to be pink or blue. Maybe bring a little extra deodorant in your bag just in case. And don't be afraid to call it quits. If you need to go back to the hotel room for a quick nap and recharge, don't push yourself until you're miserable. Listen to your body, because believe me, if you get dehydrated or if you start to get sick because you're too hot, you're going to be down for the count for a couple of days versus just a couple of hours if you head back to your hotel to recharge. So, Disney World may not always be a walk in the park, excuse the pun, but there's always a silver lining you can watch out for that can help turn your day around. Please, please, please stick with us here at DFB Guide. This is why we get up in the morning. We go to the parks, we make mistakes, we screw up, we learn, and we help you figure out how to not make the same mistakes. We tell you how to get around these issues and these errors and these problems, and we keep you updated on what's coming down the pike that's going to cause a problem in the future. So that's why we're here. I'm glad you found us. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We definitely try to make sure that every single video provides value for you, and make sure that that enormous amount of money you are spending to go to Disney World is worth every penny. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.